Hello and welcome. You might have heard a strange rumor circulating online that it's illegal to whisper in someone's ear in Illinois. It sounds absurd, right? But like many myths, there is a kernel of truth hidden inside that points to something much more important: Illinois' 6 strict privacy and harassment laws. Today, we're going to debunk this myth and take a deep dive into what the law actually says about private conversations, consent, and verbal harassment in the Prairie State. By the end of this video, you'll understand why respecting personal boundaries isn't just good manners, it's the law. So let's get right to it. Is it illegal to simply whisper something innocuous like, "the sky is blue," into someone's ear in Illinois? The answer is a clear no. There is no specific statute that criminalizes the act of whispering itself. This myth likely originated from a misunderstanding or oversimplification of two very real and very serious legal concepts: eavesdropping and harassment. Whispering, by its nature, is a private and intimate form of communication. This is where the confusion begins, because Illinois law is extremely protective of private conversations. But the act of whispering isn't the issue. It's what is being said, who is listening, and whether a conversation is being secretly recorded. This brings us to the core of Illinois privacy law, the Eavesdropping Act. Illinois is what's known as an all-party consent or two-party consent state. This is a crucial concept to understand. Under the law, specifically 720 ILCS 514-2, it is illegal to use an eavesdropping device to overhear or record any part of a private conversation unless you have the consent of all parties involved in that conversation. If you and a friend are talking and a third person secretly records you, they have broken the law. Similarly, if you were to secretly record a conversation you're having with someone else without their permission, you would also be breaking the law. The key phrase here is private conversation. What exactly does the law consider private? A conversation is deemed private if at least one of the parties has a reasonable expectation that the discussion is not being overheard by others. If you're talking in a crowded public park where anyone could walk by and listen, you likely don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy. However, if you're in your own home, a private office, or yes, even whispering to someone with the assumption that only they can hear you, you have a very strong expectation of privacy. The law protects this expectation. It's just designed to prevent people from secretly monitoring or recording discussions that are intended to be kept between the participants. The penalties for illegal eavesdropping in Illinois are severe. A first offense is typically a Class 4 felony, which can result in prison time of 1 to 3 years and fines of up to $25,000. Subsequent offenses can be elevated to a Class 3 felony, carrying even harsher penalties. This shows just how seriously the state takes the right to conversational privacy. The law aims to create a society where people can speak freely without fear of their private words being captured and used against them without their knowledge. So while whispering itself isn't illegal, secretly recording a whispered conversation without the consent of both the speaker and the listener absolutely is. Now, let's pivot from privacy to the other side of this myth: harassment. This is where the content and intent of the whisper become critically important. While whispering hello is perfectly fine, whispering threats, insults, or unwelcome comments is a completely different story. This falls under Illinois' laws against harassment and disorderly conduct. Under Statute 720 IL-CS 526-1, a person commits disorderly conduct when they knowingly act in such an unreasonable manner as to alarm or disturb another and to provoke a breach of the peace. Unwanted and offensive whispering could certainly fit this description. If someone repeatedly whispers menacing or disturbing things to another person, causing them fear or distress, that could be legally considered disorderly conduct. The context matters immensely. Is it happening in the workplace? It could be grounds for a hostile work environment claim. Is it happening between former partners? It might be considered a form of harassment or stalking. The act of whispering, because of its proximity and intimacy, can make threatening or abusive language feel even more invasive and frightening. Furthermore, Illinois has specific laws addressing harassment through electronic and telephone communications, but the principles extend to in-person interactions. Harassment is generally defined as a course of conduct directed at a specific person that causes emotional distress. This doesn't require a physical threat. Verbal abuse, intimidation, and offensive language can be enough to qualify. If the whispered words are intended to demean, threaten, or cause distress, The person doing the whispering could face legal consequences, including restraining orders and criminal charges. The Illinois Domestic Violence Act provides even more specific protections. In the context of a domestic relationship, verbal abuse is explicitly recognized as a form of harm. If a person is using whispering to control, intimidate, or verbally abuse a family or household member, it can be used as grounds for an order of protection. The court will look at the pattern of behavior and the impact it has on the victim. The quiet, insidious nature of a whisper can be a powerful tool for psychological abuse, and the law acknowledges this. The myth about whispering, then, touches on this real legal protection against verbal and psychological harassment. It's not about the volume of the speech, but the abusive nature of the words and the intent behind them. So let's bring it all together and bust this myth once and for all. It is not illegal to whisper in someone's ear in Illinois. However, the rumor is a distorted reflection of two powerful legal principles. First, the Illinois Eavesdropping Act makes it a felony to record a private conversation, which a whisper certainly is, without the consent of everyone involved. This law protects your privacy. Second, laws against disorderly conduct, harassment, and domestic violence make it illegal to use words, whispered or shouted, to threaten, alarm, or abuse another person. These laws protect your safety and well-being. The real takeaway here is not to be afraid of whispering to a friend. The real lesson is the profound importance of consent and respect in all our interactions. Consent is the cornerstone of the eavesdropping law. You need permission to record. Respect is the foundation of harassment law. You must not use your words to harm others. So the next time you hear this odd rumor, you'll know the truth. It's not about the whisper. It's about what the law truly protects. Our right to privacy and our right to live free from harassment and abuse. Communication should be about connection, not control or intrusion. Understanding these laws helps us all be better, more respectful members of our community. Thank you for watching. I hope this cleared up the confusion and gave you a better understanding of these important Illinois laws. If you found this video informative, please give it a like, and consider subscribing for more legal deep dives and myth-busting content. Stay safe, stay respectful, and we'll see you in the next video.